Hello, and welcome to Physics 1600. Thanks for taking your course. I'm your instructor, Mike Coombs, and this is a little video about installing the software, where to find it, and what it looks like to install it. Now, we're using something called an IDE. That's an abbreviation for an Integrated Development or Debugging Environment. That's just a wraparound, essentially text editor that lets you edit your computer files and highlight special words and the like. You'll see it when we when we actually start building some projects. That doesn't do any of the programming for you. It's, like I said, basically a text editor. What we need is a compiler, a C compiler. That's what takes your code, the programs you write, and turns them into instructions for the PIC that we're going to use, PIC being the programmable integrated circuit. We also call them MCUs sometimes, which is I can't even remember what an MCU is. I'll have to think about that a little later. Oh, I know. It's a microcontroller unit. So MC is microcontroller, U is unit. And so what we need is the compiler. And for our computer chip, there's an extra program that we need, which are called the Legacy Peripheral Library. I'm going to show you where to find them, how to get them. The first thing is this IDE. So I've provided a link on the Moodle site, and the address is microchip.com/mplab/mplabxide. You can search around their website. They have lots of stuff there, but it's a huge company with lots of things to see. They also make many different types of PIC, and they have all the advertising there for us. So here I am in my browser looking at the MPLABX, and I'm going to scroll down, and you can see here they have all the things it does, right? How to get a copy of this, right? And you'll see that it comes for Windows, Linux, and Macs. So whichever type of PC or laptop you have should be able to get a copy that works well for you. I'm mostly used to the to the Windows version, so I know the Linux and the Mac will run, but they'll look a little different from the examples I give you. Also here is the user's guide for the IDE. I think it in fact gets downloaded with the install, so you don't need it. And that's all the sort of information that you would need here. So let's go back to the downloads. If I come here, I will see that in fact it's a 540 meg program, and it will be take a few minutes to download. I've already downloaded ahead of this for us, so I'm not going to click on this. I already have it here, the MPLAB IDE right here. And once we've got that, and you can install it, it'll ask you if you want to install the XC32 compiler. You don't have to right there. You can just go to the the Microchip MPLAB site and look at compilers. And in compilers, again, head down, and under downloads, you'll see the Windows XC32. There's different versions for different types of microchips. So we don't want to use these two, we want to use this one, the X32. Okay? And again, Windows, Linux, and Mac. And as you go down further, there is, keep scrolling down, peripheral libraries. We don't want this one, right? We want the legacy peripheral libraries for the XC32, and that's this guy. So we're going to download all of those. Okay? And as I mentioned, to save time in this video, I've already downloaded them. So I'm just going to close this down and one by one install those files. Exciting, I know, watching software install, but we just wanted you to see the windows involved so that you'd know. Okay, so I'm running this on Windows 7. It doesn't particularly matter if you use the latest version of the MPLAB 3.61. You do need to accept. Right? It's going to install it on your hard drive. Right? Okay. This is totally up to you, right? Okay. And you don't really need to install this. We're not going to be using the integrated programming environment, but who knows, maybe later you will want to try it out sometime. And then I run into my problem, is that I already have it installed. That's okay, you won't. And after this, everything's fine to go. So we're going to cancel that off. So as you come down here, you can see three icons on my desktop. This is the only one we're going to use, the MPLAB X IDE 3.61, or any version that you use. These two here, we won't need to use them, and in fact you could delete them off your desktop if you'd like. After that's installed, we then come over to the compiler. Again, we're going to run it. Okay, accept the license agreement. All the software is free, but they do have licenses. It's the free version. Okay, install directory 1.4. You want to make sure you click on this. Right? Add XC32 to the path environment variable. Probably won't make a big amount of changes, but that should work. Probably on the Mac and the Linux it's a little different. Okay. And it's installing. Again, that'll take a minute or two to install. A compiler essentially is something that will take the code you write and translate it into instructions that the microchip can understand. I'm going to pause here while this is going on and then come back when it's finished, so you'll see a jump. So I'm back. It's taking a less than exciting 5 minutes or so to install this program. It's pretty big. This is not necessarily the fastest PC either, but you see we're almost finished. When it does finish, there won't be any icons on your screen. It works with the IDE, so you won't see anything separate on your desktop. You will be able to uninstall any of this software later. And these are nicely written professional programs, so they install quite nicely as well. A little longer. Okay, we're done. It's installed. And now it's just doing a bit of more configuring, creating the uninstaller if you want to get rid of it. should be done. Okay, you don't have to worry about your host ID or anything. Okay, and we want to use the free version, so we're going to stick here. They also have a C++ compiler that you can get for free. Some of you may have used C++ before and like to have a free version. We don't need it. So I'm going to click Next and Finish. Okay, so that remains one last piece of software here that we need, and that's this guy, the Legacy Peripheral Library. This is just a library of functions that will let us control the microchip a little more easily than some of the other ways that are available to us without being engineers. Okay. Here's the notice, right? It's saying essentially this doesn't install with what we already have installed, the compiler. I knew that, and here we are installing it. Accept the agreement, and next. Again, this will take a little time to do, so we'll hit pause and come back. So, a minute or so has passed. It's installed. Wants to know if I want to read the README file. No way. Finish. Right. Nothing appears different. We've installed all the software. I'd like to show you where it is. So I'm going to call up Windows Explorer here. And if I go to my C drive and go down to Program Files, I can see where Microchip is installed. And Microchip, right, I have a couple of versions of the IDE here, including the latest 3.61. Go back. I have two different compilers here, XC8 and XC32. You should only have the XC32. And in the XC32, if the version we installed was 1.40, you might have a newer version by the time you get to this course. And all the stuff in here. Right? One of the things to see is the C32 libraries and the user guide. Those are files with information. Right? You might want to refer to them. When the course manual, I occasionally sending you back there to read these things. As well, in here, under the includes peripherals, there's a lot of header files with information about the modules on the microchip we're going to use. Sometimes there's lots of information on these things that could be useful to you. These are just header files. Let me open one, make it smaller, move it over into this recording window that I'm using. And it's just information on the different functions in the peripheral library for analog to digital conversion, what all the abbreviations are. So huge amounts of that stuff. You don't have to worry about that. But it's all there. Everything that you could find out about your compiler and the IDE is here. Should go back a little. In the MP Lab also has a user's guide in here. So, lots of things that are useful for us to read. So that's all for now. In the next video, we're going to create a very first program for the PIC. Thank you. Bye for now.